a big warm welcome wherever you may be in Australia on a Monday morning to walk with me online. Big thanks to all our sponsors and partners that sort of make this all possible to be able to put the platform all together. Platinum Talent Management, Oz Equipment Hire, National Market Solutions. So big thanks to them. But even a bigger thanks to, I've known Ben for a very long time now, probably dates back to, I think, even Triple M days, Ben. Now we're going along.
Australia, that's right. Trying to do some events with you, some Amateur America or something like that.
Yes, we took some people to the Super Bowl, but yeah, through Triple M, and then I think Ben's journey was, I know it's been a longer journey than this, but I'm just covering the last little few pieces, but then went to Cricket Australia for a bit, but more importantly now runs and is the CEO of the North Melbourne Football Club. So big welcome to Ben Amarfio. Thanks, mate.
Morning, Corey. Good to see you. I can't see anyone else, but I assume they're there. Good morning, everyone.
They're all there in the background of wherever they may be, which is great. Up and about on a Monday morning. It's not after a win, but I know you can't say this. I did get the result I did crave in the weekend. We did get close, but it is funny. It is funny in today's environment with those picks, isn't it? That you always want to win, but you know what? The upside is we do get access to some pretty great talent. So yeah, it is a funny situation, isn't it?
It is. I mean, at the end of the day, and the coach has been pretty vocal about this. We do want to win. We are trying, and you would have hopefully seen that in our resurgence in the second half. We were disappointing in that second quarter yesterday, but the boys played magnificently well that third quarter. Then had another sort of dash it in the last quarter as well. So it was good to get back into the game and be competitive. And I think we scared them. I think we got to about 4 points at one stage. So, but unfortunately, they pipped us.
Look, I'll come back to the footy aspect in the end. But how have you seen? Have you been amazed at what the entire footy club's been able to do from a COVID situation? Like just the continual hurdles that it's not only people just think it's probably just the players having to adapt, but even your staff, have you just been amazed by their ability to be able to pivot just at the drop of a hat?
I have, absolutely. I've been blown away with what our people have been able to do, and also across the industry and across, not just our industry, across the country, how people have been able to adapt to what has been probably the worst situation that we've all experienced in our lives. When it struck last year, and unfortunately the whole industry had to stand down about anywhere between 70 and 80% of our staff throughout the industry. That certainly was the case at North Melbourne. So you had a lot of distress that was created and caused by this damn virus, and for people to soldier through. Thank God for JobKeeper and the government for supplying that, because many of our clubs, or all of our clubs, wouldn't have got through if not for that. But just the resilience and fortitude of, if I can talk and be selfish for a moment and talk about our people, you had people on both sides, those that had been stood down who were really suffering as a consequence, and those who were still working with us, who had to do the jobs of 2 and 3 people and work 7 days a week on reduced pay, and then of course those that really felt it, those that were eventually lost their jobs through no fault of their own. So all 3 groups of people were affected, and it breaks your heart, but it also gives you great sustenance and faith of the spirit of our people to sort of push through in a period like that.
And then what's the club been doing from a yeah, like a wellness perspective, I suppose, for the staff, firstly, and then secondary for the players? Like, what things have you guys been conscious of that you're putting in place from a support mechanism to enable everyone to thrive through a tough time, not only for them personally, but for also their families?
A number of things. I think firstly, it's about communication and care. We made sure that there was each of the managers were talking to our people on a regular basis.
Yep.
And we'd have check-ins, and we had care groups, and I know the player groups, they continued their story times, and where they're all connecting with each other and sharing each other's stories with each other. There was a variety of things like that we were doing. We were trying to give people time off as well, that were working extremely hard. Even little things like care packages. You know, we've done it recently again. We would send hampers to all of our staff, little care packages with, lovely items in the hampers, just to let people know that we were thinking about them and we cared about them, and we wanted to, in some small way, try and support them. You know, vouchers and things like that. So a variety of things, Corey, that we tried to do to make sure that everyone was okay and we were looking after each other, sort of mind, body and soul, the whole thing.
I know, obviously, look, there is a huge negative to this, but what do you think the positives are moving forward? Like some of those things that you probably end up keeping in the long term, like just to, it's all about that. You know what I mean, about checking in and even those care packages and different bits and pieces. What are the things that you think that you'll adapt that'll be the positives out of what's happened with the pandemic?
Yeah, look, it's a great point. So I like to be an optimist. I like to try and find the positives in things. And I think there's been a number of positives out of COVID, believe it or not. And first and foremost, I think the notion of, good morning, a couple of dogs at the beach. I think appreciation for each other and relationships. I think that's been one of the things that's really come out of COVID, is because, particularly here in Victoria, because we were locked away for so long and removed from each other and disconnected, people were craving for connection and social interaction. And that's what we are. It's what separates us from the animals, right? You know, we're social beings, humans. And so I think people have hopefully got a much deeper and greater appreciation for connection and relationships than we've ever had before. So that'll be a real positive that comes out of it. I think other things will be, I think people are more appreciative. We're appreciative of our health, appreciative that we have a job, appreciative that we're in a country with a great health system that has withstood the battering of COVID. There's a number of things that we haven't, we're certainly not through it, but oh my God, the tide's in, Corey. Got my stand here. But I'm down at Torquay, just so you know. So I think we'll come out of it. And so for me, appreciation is a really big one. Gratitude, being grateful of what we like. As bad as things are, we're still here, we're still upright. This thing isn't going to defeat us. And the fact that we've all gotten through this, or getting through this, is a great learning for us all, and hopefully is building a lot more resilience in all of us.
And Benny, I know that you've spoken a lot about everyone else, but what's Ben Amarfio's daily routine? What are some of the things that that you have to do from a personal point of view yeah, you're in charge of a big organisation in the North Melbourne Football Club, but if you're not right, it obviously, you know what I mean, it may have an impact on everyone else. But what do you do to look after yourself, especially during trying times and very stressful conversations that you have to have?
I think, you try and do a little bit of everything, mind, body, and soul, and like sleep's important. And now, what I'm saying here, people who know me well will think I'm a bit of a hypocrite here, because some of these things I haven't been so good at, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we need to look after ourselves and make sure we're getting enough sleep. Got to eat right. I was quite naughty. I borrowed, when we were shut down for several months last year, I borrowed one of the bikes out of our gym. They're better bikes than what you used to have, Corey. So I borrowed one of the bikes out of the gym, and I set that up in my lounge room. And so I would bike every day, work up a sweat. So that was good, because you're only allowed to exercise for a short period of time back then.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things. Try and meditate. Luke Darcy, God love him, he's a devotee of transcendental meditation, and he's very kind to me a few years ago, and he's introduced me to meditation. So I don't do enough of it, nowhere near enough of it, but meditation's a wonderful thing to relieve stress. So those sorts of things.
Well, don't laugh. It must be a ruckman thing, because I only discovered it probably say 3 years ago, and I wish I had discovered it when I was playing footy. And the thing is, I've always said this, Ben, if it wasn't called meditation, if it was just called get the hell out of your own way, you'd probably do it every day, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're Australian males, I don't know, we're the whole alpha thing of machismo, and we were late to meditation, we were late to yoga, we were late to a lot of things that we should have been into a lot earlier. We were late to expressing ourselves and being open with with each other, and having real conversations. So, but we're getting better. We're catching up to the girls eventually.
Now, the other one, I suppose, that's been front and centre over the last little period, Ben, is in regards to racism. Like, it's funny. I've never, from my point of view, I'd like to think it doesn't matter whether I've played footy with any of the Aboriginal guys or anyone. Like, I just can't even fathom how frustrated it must make you feel that people just seem to be not still picking up, the things that you shouldn't say.
Yeah, it does. It's terribly disheartening, and I'm constantly, I don't know, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I am constantly surprised at how cruel we can be to each other.
Yeah.
Humans in general, I don't get it. And so I was talking about this the other day, and some of it, I think, I'm not trying to give people a free pass here, but you could understand it that where humans evolved from, and to think that people used to be, it was a protection mechanism, so if someone was different to you, the whole instinctive responses of fight or flight or freeze or whatever, and it was a protective mechanism. But you know what? We're not Neanderthals. We're not cavemen anymore. We should have evolved by now. And we understand, and we've been educated, and we have familiarity, and we should know better. That at the end of the day, we're all, I'm going to sound a bit preachy here, at the end of the day, we really are all brothers and sisters, no matter what colour, creed, religion, culture. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm going to get... Sorry.
You're getting attacked by a dog.
No, it's the waves, mate. If it took me, take your eye off him, you'll get caught. So, you know, I told this story, did an interview over a year ago, and I told this, sorry to beg your indulgence, it's a little story about my mother.
Oh, no, that's good.
And I went to school in Moonee Ponds on Wilson Street there, near the racecourse, and Moonee Ponds Central, and there would have been, oh my God, there would have been 1,000 kids in the school. And back in those days, there weren't black people in Melbourne. I think we might have been one of the first black families in Melbourne. So I went to school with 1,000 kids. There was only one other black kid in the school. And that just happened to be my sister. she was the only other black kid I knew in the school. And so it was very foreign for a lot of people back then to see black children, and we used to cop it. I used to cop it every day, and you know, you'd go home. I'd go home crying to my mum. I was only a little fella's 4 or 5 morning. Go home crying every day because of all the names you get called and teased and picked on. Or you just want to belong, you know. Just want to assimilate and be one of the crew. And one day my mother got well and truly sick of this, and she grabbed me by the hand and said, right, I've had enough of this, let's go. So we marched down to the school one day, and she demanded to see the principal. Spoke to the principal, and she demanded to see all the kids that have been picking on me all the time. And they did. It took a little while. They rounded up these kids, and they all came into the principal's office, and I'm sitting there, very sheepish and embarrassed, obviously. And she started to talk to these kids, and I'll never forget it. She asked them, and she spoke to them in a way that they could understand. And she said, do you boys have, and they're all boys, do you boys have pets? And they all said yes. You know, one had a rabbit, one had a couple of them had dogs and cats and all the rest of it. She said, right, did you love your pet? Yeah. We love our pet. Yeah. You know, Fluffy or Dot or whatever, Spot, we're Rusty, we love our pet and all the rest of it. And he said, and what colour is your pet, little Johnny? And, you know, I've got a tabby cat and he's ginger or whatever, or I've got a dog and he's brown and black spots or whatever. And so she went through all this, and then at the end she said, right, do you really love your pet? Yeah. Do you care about what colour your pet is? And they're like, no. Why do we care about what colour our pets are? He said, well, what's the difference with people? People are exactly the same. We love each other. We're all different colours, but we still love each other. There's no difference. And I think it really resonated with these kids. It resonated with me. And it turned out the kid that gave me the most grief out of all the kids turned around and ended up being my best mate in primary school for years. And it stemmed from that day.
It's a brilliant story, and the funny, sometimes all the best things happen out of adversity, and you gained a lifelong mate, I gather.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious, how is your mindset when you first come in to approach the job at North Melbourne? Because I will tell everyone, right, and this is a great thing I do admire about Ben. Did you actively think, right, I'm going to go out and just speak to a lot of North people and really get an understanding about the place? Because I know, and again, I'm not speaking out of school, Ben actually did call me, and obviously we knew each other from Triple M, but I just thought it was a great way of, you know what I mean, when you're going into an organisation, just to try and really understand the place.
Yeah, well, I think what occurred to me, Corey, was I love people for starters, so I'm a bit of a people person. So that's me. And for me, North Melbourne has an amazingly rich history. And I remember as a kid, even though I didn't barrack for North Melbourne as a kid, I was a little bit obsessed with North Melbourne. Hello, puppy. It's a big Alsatian here. I was obsessed with North Melbourne, even though I was a Collingwood supporter. And I'll tell you why. How you doing? There was Ron Barassi had joined the club. And so I will get back and answer your question. Sorry, I'm rambling, but this is the context. And North Melbourne had that amazing run through the mid-70s, obviously culminating in the two flags in 75 and 77. But I read this book called The Coach.
Yep.
And I became a bit obsessed about North Melbourne and Ron Barassi and their story. And that's where I had a little bit of a love affair with North Melbourne, even though I didn't barrack for them. And then, of course, Pagan comes along in the 90s, and I'd followed Pagan's story through the under-19s, and then when he left, went to Essendon, and then came back and all the rest of it. And so I was very familiar with the North Melbourne story and very familiar with the whole Shinboner spirit story, backstory. And so when I started, and before I started, I'd done a lot of reading and research about the club, just picking up bits that I didn't know about the club and the people who had built this wonderful club, the players, the volunteers, the officials. And it really comes home very quickly to you that this is a very special place, which has been built on the work and sweat, blood and tears of a lot of special people over 150 years. I know we've been in the VFL, AFL since 1925, but we existed well before that, going back to 1869. So I was very, very conscious of the club's history and the people who had helped us get to where we were today. And for me, it was, as best I could, me reaching out to as many people as I could who'd played some sort of hand in the club being where it is. So I made hundreds of phone calls, which I loved. I really did. I really enjoyed and had some wonderful conversations, and some of those continue. But that was my way of saying I wanted to introduce myself, one, but more importantly, I wanted to say how appreciative I was of what those people had done for the club, and that I wanted to give them, as best I could, some sort of assurance that we were going to do our best to make sure that we looked after their club, and we wouldn't be here without them, and that, we would continue to carry on the name and the good work of the club.
And as for those that don't know, as Ben said, he sort of hit it right on the head, and he's actually, I'm going to pump his tyres up here. I don't want to give him too much of a fat head. But one thing I think, and even Ben's touched on it, if you buy into the North Melbourne Football Club, whether you're a player or a staff member, you are as revered as what like a Wayne Carey or any of the players are on field. And Ben actually touched on it. There would have been so many great people over the journey, like whether it's Heath O'Loughlin's only recently just left. You've had Judy Francis. You've had all these people, Ron McIntosh, trainers, Greg Miller, Jeff Walsh. I think that's one that is, did that really hit you between the eyes when you saw the enormity of what their contribution was?
100%. And, and I'm very privileged. I get that, to think that I get to work at a great club like this and I get paid. You still pinch yourself every day because you think of all of those people that have gone before us who did it without being paid or being paid meager amounts.
Yeah.
But they did it because they loved the club. They did it because they believed in what the club was doing. They did it because they loved the suburb and the community. And so, I've got an unbelievable regard for those people, past and present, who, unlike me, weren't even rewarded for their efforts. So we owe it to them, Corey, to keep the club going, keep the club strong, both on and off the field. And that's our goal, At the end of the day, we talk about our purpose at North Melbourne. Our purpose is about bringing joy to the North community. You know, that's what we're about. And yes, flags are important, and we're busting our backsides to make sure that we set ourselves up for success on the field. But it's also important what we do off the field as well, what we do in the community, and make sure we create a sound, strong, sustainable business to keep us going for another 150 years.
Now, this will be my last question, guys, before I throw a few open to the floor, and I'll let Megan sort of bring people in. But my question is now that Nobes has sort of gone through, David Noble's gone through a first full season, what are the things that have impressed you the most, the way that he's actually gone about it?
Oh, God. Well, the thing about David is, for us, he's lived up to the promise so far. You know, a year in, we appointed him. Well, it's not even a year yet. It might have been, I think it was around late October last year, early November. No, sorry, it would have been maybe later than that, maybe November last year. The thing we were taking with David was a few things. One, he was incredibly experienced. He'd had 26, 27 years in the system, as an administrator at all levels, as a coach, as a senior coach, as an assistant coach, in local footy, in VFL, assistant coach at AFL level. You know, he just had so much experience, and which is something that we thought that we really needed. After having, you know, a period where we had a lot of pretty inexperienced people in the club, myself included. So we thought we needed a wise old head, and he certainly was that and is that. And we wanted someone who we knew that had been around the block and who was resilient, who was calm, considered, and incredibly bright, had good relationships, and who was also very strategic. Yes, we took a punt because, you know, people will say, well, people might have thought or said that would go for a named coach or the traditional path. And David wasn't that. But we were so taken with what we heard and saw, and he really is living up to that every day. All the things that he said that he wanted to do, he's doing. We love the fact that he was very big on growth mindset and education, educating our young, because we have a very young team, as you know. I think more than half of our squad are under 22. And it was really important that we had someone who could relate to our young men and teach them and educate them about the game, about game plans, about their role, how to be a professional athlete. So they're all the things that impressed us, and they're all the things that he is absolutely living up to.
Now, guys, I'll throw it open to the floor. We've got time for a couple of quick questions. I always say it, Benny, but it goes incredibly quick. We've just eaten up half an hour really quick, and it's been fantastic to have you on. But I'm sure we've got time for a couple of questions. If anyone's got one for Ben on the...
Hi, Ben. It's Jeff here. How are you?
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I was just wondering, can you tell me, what does the women's program mean to the North Melbourne Football Club? I understand that they took a bit of a cut when COVID came in. I'm just wondering how it's bounced back.
I'm glad you asked. We're very passionate about our women's program, and we're very proud of our women's program. We think it's the best program in the comp, albeit that Lions won the flag last year. But we've been consistently very strong performers in the years that we've played. Yes, the women's program took a hit, and you know, the most obvious hit was that we lost our coach, Scotty Gowans. So we had to make some really heartbreaking decisions, and Scotty was one of those, and there was others as well that we lost from the program. But it also gave us the opportunity to try and, more people had to do several jobs. So Darren Crocker, former great, I think Corey's very familiar with. Darren Crocker took on the role as well as doing about 2 other jobs as well. So, yes, we lost a lot of people, but we hunkered down like everyone else, and we tried to make good and make best of the situation. And, we made the finals last year. We made the finals last couple of years. We haven't got to the ultimate, and we hope to do that this year. But we are very, very invested in our women's program. I, in particular, are very passionate about our women's program, not for just the fact of it's about women playing football, but it's about celebrating the role. I talked about all the people that have, Corey talked about Judy Francis before, and there's several other women who this club wouldn't be where it is today without the support of women. So it's about time we paid back. So we're very big on gender equality. We're very big on equality in general. So we love what the women's program is doing for us, the club, and the competition. It's great to see that 4 clubs are coming in the next couple of years to make our competition whole. As I said, I'm very passionate myself. I don't think, other than COVID, where it hasn't allowed me, I don't think I've missed a practice game or a game since I've joined the club. There are, for those few people that haven't seen many of our games, my God, you talk about shin-boner spirit. Our girls practice shin-boner spirit as ferociously, if not more, than the blokes. They're amazing. We love them.
Thanks, Ben. Keep it up.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hi, Ben. We got a question from Rhett on social media.
From who? Who's it, me?
Rhett.
Rich.
Rhett was his name.
Rhett. Oh, Rhett. Sorry.
Rhett,
okay. Yes,
as in Rhett Butler.
Yes. Okay.
They wanted to know how far do you realistically believe we are away from a serious crack at a flag?
Oh my God, how long's a piece of string? Well, we've got to be patient, Rhett, and that's what I would say to everyone. We want to do this the right way. We want to build the foundation and get the foundation right, which means, and we took that drastic step last year where unfortunately we exited 14 players. We delisted 12 and we traded 2. And that was really tough for us and obviously for the players as well. And but we did that because we knew that the best way to rebuild the list and rebuild the club on field was to get our talent right. And we needed to get more talent into the club, and we needed to get younger talent into the club. We're an aging list as well. So to do that, we knew that we were signing up for a lot of heartache in terms of on-field results. And so it is going to take a few years while we go to the draft, the national draft, mid-season draft, and try and co-opt. And it's not just draft, it's also trade and also free agency as well. We'll use every mechanism we can to get more talent into the club. So it's going to take us a while for us to get the talent into the club, and it's going to take a while for that talent to develop. So how long is it going to take? I can't tell you this morning. We hope it's sooner rather than later, but we are patient. We understand that there will be a lot of impatience, but we do have to be patient. And I think hopefully Rhett and others have seen that things are starting to turn already. We've seen our performances in the first half, which were really disappointing. We got a couple of shellackings, and how much our kids are improving already in the back half of the year. I think I saw some stats the other day that I think going back a game or two that, if you looked at our form since the bye that, we're probably in about 9th position or 10th position. So, and to think that that's in our first year of our rebuild, it's a pretty amazing effort. So I'm not going to give you a timeline, but let's be patient. Let's do it the right way. And hopefully we'll continue to see some more growth and development next year.
Thanks, Ben.
Now, I am conscious of everyone's time, but look, Ben, I know what Dennis Pagan used to say, that we're all sort of custodians of being at the North Melbourne Footy Club, and I know that we've got record membership. I think you pointed out to me the other day, if you had said that North Melbourne had 47,500 members, which I just think is just an unbelievable result.
Yeah.
We're nearly going to be debt free. We've gone through this rebuild and we come out the other end. And as everyone's heard me say, I don't think I've ever seen a year where we found as many players as what we have. We now, after Saturday's bitterly disappointing loss, where we now have got the #1 draft pick. It's look, going back to what I said about Dennis Pagan and having custodians, when I see that we've got people of your ilk at the footy club, I wouldn't be surprised that we're talking in 10 years down the track that, mate, the way that you've bought into the North Melbourne Footy Club, I know that I think you're in the right steps to, to join that illustrious group of great people that have bought into the North Footy Club, because you can definitely see the passion you got for the place, and I think all the fans out there should be over the moon that we've actually got a CEO such as yourself running the place.
Thank you, mate. That's very kind. I appreciate that. I really do. It means a lot to me, coming from someone like you, who is so invested and so passionate about the club, and talking to, hopefully I won't be considered an outsider going forward and I'll be considered, part of the family. Gonna watch these magpies, they're swooping around here. But I just want
that's the Collingwood. That's the Collingwood. They're getting you back now because you jumped ship.
Yeah. Bloody magpies. I'll try and look for some roos around here. Can I just say, I want to thank you, mate, because from day one and before day one, you've been a supporter and encouraged me and helped me and advised me, and you're always there with a supportive text or an email or a phone call constantly, and you fight for the club and you love the club, and we love that about you, and thank you for your support of the club and for me. We couldn't do it without you, mate, so thank you. And I want to thank all the people that are on this call and the people who aren't on this call, because at the end of the day, the club exists for you. That's why we fight to make sure that we're sustainable and successful on and off the field. 18 months ago, we had 38,000 members. Last year, we finished second last. This year, we finished last. And we now have 47,500 members. I don't think there's many clubs in the comp whose on-field record has seen a second last in the last 2 years, and it's seen growth like that in its membership base. And what that tells me is that our supporters and our fans and our members get it. They've stuck with us. Last year, when our members couldn't come to games, 97.5% of our members kept their money and kept their memberships going, and enabled us to make a profit last year. Only 3 Victorian clubs made a profit last year: Richmond, the Bulldogs, and us. And that's because of the faith and the loyalty and the support and love of our supporters and our members who stuck by us, kept their money in the club, and helped us to be profitable and to wipe a bit more debt off. So I want to thank all of those people who have bought in, not just last year, but bought in again this year. They've hardly been able to see a game again this year, and yet they've all signed up. They're signing up in droves. It tells me that they believe in the club and the club's plan and the direction we're heading in, and that they've bought into this rebuild of regeneration, and getting all these, you talked about before, all the exciting kids and the development of our team. So my heartfelt thanks goes to all the people on this call. And as I said, all the people that aren't on this call that are getting behind us at the moment. They're helping us be in the position that we're in today. And hopefully this is only the start, Corey. We continue to climb and grow and develop for many years to come. Thank you.
No, well, it is. Well, exciting times. But look, on behalf of everyone that's on the walk with me online, big thank you for taking your time out on a Monday morning. I'm sure you'll get off all your jacket and your jumper and you'll have your Speedos on and you'll be charging into the water any second now. So
I don't know, Corey. I'm African, so we like the water a little bit warmer. Cold for us.
No, but look, mate, a big thanks, and hopefully I'll get to see you in person soon. So
Look forward to it, mate. Look forward to having a big cuddle.
all right, see you guys. Have a great day.
See you, everyone.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks a lot. That's great.
Thanks,
Bye,
Ben.
everyone. Thanks for the
See you,
question.
everyone.